Hey guys, how you doing? So the backup laptop just shut off, so I rebooted it, and I rebooted both of them. So I'm on my desktop computer, which doesn't have a camera, which I guess you don't need to see me, right? But let me try to reboot these laptops. And I will try to continue for right now on my desktop, but just keep in mind I'm not, actually let me try to turn recording on because I don't know if it's recording. Where would it be recording? I guess it's recording on this computer now. Okay, all right. Sorry about that, just having some tech issues today. So let me try to VPN in from this computer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't use all zeros, use your student ID to VPN. Make sure that works. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. Grades for another class there. Actually, let me close everything just to make sure there's nothing important on the screen.
Professor, I don't think we can see your screen.
Oh, good. I'm glad you can't see it because I had some grades up. I'm trying to close a bunch of stuff that's on this desktop that I do not want you to see. Now I'm okay with sharing the screen, but now my laptops are back up. So let me try to get my other machines back up and running because I'd rather use them. Because they have cameras on them. Restart anyway. Still have too much stuff on the screen. Hang on, let me get rid of all this other stuff on the screen. Okay, you guys still with me? I think I got everything closed. Nope, still don't have everything closed. All right, give me a minute. I had about 45 documents open on this desktop. Okay, everything appears to be closed. Now my laptops are coming back online. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, what I wanted to show you was that you should be able to access your virtual machine. Let's try. I was having some issues with this earlier with the other class, so let me try it again and see if it's working now that I'm VPN'd in. So I'm running Chrome here. I've installed this IE tab. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go to http://. I'm first going to try the domain name xen, xen.eilab.bower.uh.edu. See if that works. Okay, that works. If that does not work for you, by the way, close that. If that does not work for you, try going to, in the IE tab, just to the IP address. So I'll do it both ways, http://, sorry. 192.168.1.32. Write that down if you don't already know that. 1.32. That is the same thing as this xen.eilab.bower.uh.edu. You're going to log in as username of 1234567, which is my student ID password. If you haven't changed it, it's that default VMJUS3R exclamation point that's in the notes. Domain, you do need that. Click there. Now, this is assuming that you have already installed that Citrix Receiver program. If you've not installed the Citrix Receiver, you can't go beyond this. So I'm assuming you have already installed that. That's actually updated. This is actually the newer version. I went ahead and told my computer to go ahead and download the latest Citrix Receiver, which is now called the Citrix Workspace. So it looks like I'm connected. Okay, so if you can get to this screen, this is preferable. I'm going to click no access on it. Doesn't matter what you click there. This is preferable to use this, but you need to be careful with what you're doing, okay? Now my goal is I need to access a virtual machine that I've created, and I don't want to mess with my local desktop computer and potentially mess up the DNS, or mess up the host file, I should say, okay? So I don't want you to mess with the DNS settings. You can go into your network settings and change DNS servers or add them, but that can potentially cause a problem. So I'm just going to suggest that you use the local host file. So who has a domain that I can look at that they have installed underneath Virtual Min? Does anybody have one running yet? Doesn't have to have anything on it yet. Just has to be running. You know, you don't have to have WordPress or anything on it. Weren't you working on, let's see, who all's here? Nobody has one running yet? I know a couple people did that. Maybe you're not currently participating in the meeting right now. Let's see who's here right now. Not yet. Okay. All right. Well, let's just pretend then, or let's see what I've got. I may have something already set up. Oops, caps lock on. Oh, I think I changed the password. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's assume that I have installed Virtual Min on this Jake Ubuntu 18. I don't recall whether I got that far or not on this one or that one. Don't know if Zach has his installed yet or not on the container or VM, but that's okay. Oh, also keep in mind, guys, like I said, we've only got until Monday, so I'm going to try to show you. Here's the way this is going to work. I put up an assignment. I want you to try to answer to the best of your ability all of those questions, and that's what I'm driving your grading from. But then I'm going to put up another assignment on the last day of class that's going to ask a few more questions to see if you got any further. And I see, and I've been trying to help people this morning. A lot of you are making pretty good progress today, so that's good. So I'm going to not use PuTTY. I'm just going to cheat and use the shell for right now, just because it's easier for me to do that. I'm going to type in PCT enter 201 to see what I've got on this machine. Don't even know if I have the lamp stack installed. Okay, have the lamp stack installed. I know that because I see Apache running now. Was it Robert maybe was having the problem, or somebody was having a problem earlier where they thought they had gotten to some point and they could not get to their website based on IP address, let alone the name. And that's because Apache, yeah, Rahul, thank you. That's because Apache was not running. I entered your container and I typed in this command, ps space awux. I typed in the pipe command. I wish I would have been able to teach you guys more Linux this semester. I used the grep command, and I looked just for APA, which is the first few characters in Apache. I did not see it running on yours. Don't know what happened, Rahul, but possibly one of the steps that you did messed up Apache. It was probably that step 4 that you didn't need to do on the DigitalOcean website because we're installing virtualmin. Okay, so it looks like I've got possibly a couple of domains already set up here on this 201. Let me guess and assume. Look at my IP address for this. I'm at 10.201, so hopefully I should be able to go to https://192.168.10.201 :10,000. Good. So I have installed. Good. I'm glad I've installed virtualmin. Don't remember the password. There's the password. Okay. So don't know if I have any content, but I'll create some content real quick and I'll show you where it's supposed to be and I'll show you how you can test it. So I've got this jakerocks.com. If I just tried to go to jakerocks.com, that's not going to work. And I think I showed you guys this last time. I'm probably going to get this real website in the real world. How can I make jakerocks.com visible to me? First of all, you have to make sure you're putting the content in the right folder. So the content has to be under /home /jakerocks /public HTML. That's where the content has to be. And that's where I'm going to install WordPress today. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. But this is where it needs to be. If you want to test it, make a sample index.html, which I've already done that. Let's just list that out and see what it says. It just says Jake is awesome. Now, if you want to actually test it, again, you're going to have to edit either on your machine, because I could access this jakerocks.com on my local machine or this machine right here. But if you don't want to edit your DNS on your actual machine, edit the DNS and try to access it here. Looks like I haven't even installed Chrome on here yet, but remember how to do that? I'm going to run WordPad over here. Right click, run as an administrator. So this way, even if you have a Mac, it's the same instructions this way, as long as you can get that virtual machine working. Gonna go open C:// underneath Windows, underneath System 32, underneath drivers, underneath, etc. Shows no files because I have to change this to show me all documents right there. There's the host file. I'm going to open and edit that. 192.168.10.201, which is the IP address of my server where jcrocs.com is. jcrocs.com. I want to save it. I'm going to leave it open. I'm not even going to close it. I'm just going to leave it because I'll probably be editing it several times. Then it will work. Now again, this is just Internet Explorer, but you were supposed to have installed Chrome. I'm surprised I did not install Chrome on this machine. Yeah, I'll just install it real quick while we're talking about other stuff. Okay, so in order to get WordPress installed for VirtualMin, first have to download it, so you could download it to your virtual machine here. Or since you're VPN'd in, you could download it to my actual machine here, which is a Windows 10 machine, so that I can get it up to where it needs to be. Oh no, actually the instructions that I was showing you in the last class was showing you how to do it from VirtualMin, specifically from WebMin and the file manager. That's what I started showing you. So here's VirtualMin. Here's the file manager for VirtualMin. So go to VirtualMin for the domain. If you have more than one, make sure you're using the domain you want. There's the file manager. We are already in the public HTML folder. So this is where your WordPress installation is supposed to go. So let me go download WordPress real quick. And actually, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. You don't have to download it directly to your computer. You see that? I'm going to show you a little tricky thing that you can do. It says download WordPress 5.42 or tar.gz. If you download that top one, and it's expecting that you use an unzipping program, which is intended for Windows. Tar.gz files are intended for Linux. So I'm going to show you something that's even easier to do and faster. Maybe it's not easier, but it's faster. Right-click that. Copy that link address. Okay? Then go back to your virtual machine. It's that, but I'm going to view it with PuTTY or even with the command. Here, I'm just going to view it with the command line in the interest of time here. Let me move that somewhere else. So I'm going to shell to my Proxmox, PCT enter. Now you'll have to use sudo because you're not supposed to be logging in as root. So sudo PCT enter 201. Or wasn't I logged in already somewhere else? I think I had one already open. Yeah, I have one open already. I'm in the folder where I want to put WordPress. I'm going to use the wget command. If the wget command doesn't exist, I will use apt-get or yum and install it. Then I'm going to say wget, and then I'm going to paste that shortcut right there, latest.tar.gz, and it'll get it directly to the server. So I didn't have to download it and then re-upload it in Windows. I'm putting it directly on my server. This is the better, faster way to do it. It's a very short URL. It's not very long. You could, if you had to, you could just type that in verbatim. WordPress.org/latest.tar.gz. Now it's there. So if you were following the instructions on installing WordPress for VirtualMin, they had you coming here, downloading WordPress first, and then clicking on uploading a file here. But we don't need to do that because we just did it here. How to use a tar file. Tar stands for tape archive, and the GZ stands for it's zipped up, GNU zipped. We're going to use tar, the tar command, minus X for extract, Z because it's compressed with the Z compression, P for preserve file permissions, V for verbose, and then finally F. So you're going to type in all of those characters, tar minus XZPVF. It doesn't usually matter what order those in except for the F, because the F says, what's the name of the file you want to specify? Latest tar.gz. So again, I could have just done it this way. Tar minus X minus Z space minus P. And I could have done them all separate just like that. But most of the time, we just run it all together. XZPVF. And that exploded that package into a folder called Wordpress underneath public HTML. You can optionally move it somewhere else, move it to where you actually want it. So it's in a folder called Wordpress. That's fine, just leave it there. Now we're going to change directory to WordPress. And we have to edit a file, wp-config. And what, by the way, what I'm doing is I'm installing WordPress for virtual mint. I'm not necessarily following these instructions. I'm kind of skipping past some of them. And I'm not using virtual mint to install it. I'm installing it with the recognition that I have virtual mint installed, and I'm putting it in the right folders. I go back to this here and I refresh, you'll see that I should now have a WordPress folder. The instructions say go into that folder, look for this wp-config-sample file and copy and paste it, copy it to a new file just called wp-config.php. You can do it from here with these tools, or you can do it from here with the copy command. It wants you to copy the wp-config sample file into wp-config.php, wp-config.php. Now I have a file called wp-config.php. You'll notice it's owned by root here. That's how I know I created that. Eventually, we'll make all of these files owned by Jake Rocks. We don't need to do it quite yet. And then I need to edit that wp-config file. I can either do it from the file manager or virtual mint, or I can use Nano over here. Three things that you need to change. I need to change the database name. What should you call the database? Well, we've already got a database created for this domain. It's called Jake Rocks, or it's called whatever you created it. So since I know I already have one, I can click here and just check and see what I have. Let's see. I'm looking for the database stuff. Virtual server summary. I'm trying to see where it shows any database information. There it is, edit databases. I've got a database called Jake Rocks already, so I'll just use that. Even if that database had stuff in it already, like let's say you installed another package, WordPress starts all of its tables with WP_, so it's unlikely that it's going to create any tables that will step on existing tables. Username, what was my username? Edit users for that database, I'm pretty sure it's Jake Rocks. There it is right there. Username Jake Rocks. Password, it's whatever password I used when I created the domain. If you don't remember what it is, you can change the password for the database before you go any further. But it's probable that you made the password the same thing as the password for the domain. So I'm not going to edit. I'm going to assume that I made it the same thing. Which is just that generic password. Don't need to change DB host. So those are this right here, and the reason I'm showing you this again, because I've showed you this already, this is the area that screws people up the most, these 3 items. Name of the database has to exist already. Okay, you've got to see it already here under virtual min. If one does not exist, create one. That's what these instructions have you doing over here. It has you creating a database if you need to. Save that file. Now let's try to run that file. And before I try to run it, I'm going to see if Jake Rocks is working now. And I think it was. Yeah, let's see. If I go to jakerocks.com. Oh, no, yeah, I have to do it from here because I did not edit my actual real DNS in real life. So let me just quickly finish installing Chrome. It's a quick install here. Hopefully this will get people pushed on far enough to where they can get WordPress installed and install a couple of modules, like the customer relationship module I was talking about. Or what we're going to first do is install a contact form, and then we're going to install a CAPTCHA plugin for that contact form so that that contact form is not abused. So I'm walking you through here, hopefully. Hopefully everybody can do this. Okay, so Jake Rocks, does that work? Yes, it does. I'm looking at my local jakerocks.com, so I should be able to type in jakerocks.com/WordPress because that's where I put the stuff. It's sitting in a folder called WordPress. Do you guys understand that? Where's my... Oh, it's out here? Yeah, here it is. I'm sitting in a folder under the public HTML folder called WordPress. So I have to put WordPress up there. Okay. Then I'm looking for that wp-admin.config file. I'm sorry, not wp-admin config. wp-config.php. I'm looking for that, wp-config.php. This is what you get if WordPress was properly downloaded, and this proves that those 3 items that you edited into that file, that those 3 items are correct. It would not give you this screen if you didn't see these 3 items. So it says, welcome to WordPress installation, site title. Now, it may have asked you for, I may have started running this before because I think it should have asked me for what language I want to install, but I didn't see that. So it may be just assuming that I am in America, so it defaulted to English. Site title, Jake Rocks. Usernames, I'm going to go ahead and make it the same. as my username for the domain. Password, I'm going to make it the same. That way I don't have any confusion. Email. Discourage search engines from indexing this site. Doesn't matter because this is a private site. Install WordPress. Let's see if this works. Success. Boy, that was easy. Log in. Okay, so now to log into WordPress, this up here, pay attention to that. That is your URL that you go into to log in for WordPress. If you don't put that WP login in and you just go to WordPress, you'll get this hello world, very basic WordPress site. The way you get to the admin of it is WP admin. Either WP login or you just go to the WP-admin folder and it throws in that WP login. Login, Jake Rocks. And I already saved the password. Login. And here is WordPress. So if you guys can get this done by tomorrow, between today and tomorrow, that's great. Has anybody gotten this far yet? I'll take that as a no. Or as a Cargan says, yeah. Did you get this far yet, Cargan? In order to get an A in the class, I need you to get at least this far. And I think I can get everybody there. Okay, so let's look around here in WordPress. I want to install some plugins because I want to start creating some content. Your content is here under Pages. This is the first page that's running right now, just this sample page. I can click on Edit, and you'll see the content of it with that, you know, hello. Now it comes with this block editor which you can use, but this is basically the page. Jake's page update. So now if I go back and look at Jake, not there, excuse me. If I go back and look at Jake Rocks from here, now if I go to jakerocks.com, by the way, I'll still just see that. I have to put in the /WordPress. And that's only because I installed it in this folder. So now it says Jake's page instead of whatever it said before. So I'm going to want you to do a little bit of customization just to prove to you that you can do that. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at I'm going to go back here, plugins. It's got a couple of plugins already installed. I want you to add a new plugin. I want you to add the contact form plugin. There's several contact forms. So let's just click on add new plugin. Let's search for contact form. Let's see what our options are. There's contact form 7. It's the most common one. Install it. To perform the requested action, WordPress wants you to do this. Actually, you won't be able to do it this way, so click cancel there. Go to more details. You can read up on the contact form. If we click install now from there, yeah, what it's trying to do is it's trying to upload to your server the contact form this way. We can't install it this way. We'll have to do it a little bit different way. Installation. Let's go to the plugins website right here. I'm just trying to find the URL for it. Here's the URL right there for it, download contact form 7. I click on that and see what it does. Download. This is what I was trying to get to, download. I'm not going to actually download it. I'm going to right click that button and click copy the link address. Because again, I'm going to do it a little bit different way. I'm running, this is an older version of WordPress. They've changed this to where it's easier to do this, but I can't remember how to do it. Not easily. I'm going to use the wget again, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. Let's look at what we've got here. Okay, since our sites, and the reason I'm having a problem here is our sites are not public. So we can't tell WordPress to install that contact form for them, so we have to do it this way. Go to the plugin page and download the plugin. It will create a zip file, which I did. I could have done, but I was actually trying to skip it and do it another way. Plugin section, upload and select the zip file. Let's go back to it and see that we can do it that way. Yeah, we could do it that way. There's a couple different ways we could do it. Upload plugin. If you have a plugin in a zip format, which I do, it's right there. I can just drag and drop it right there. That's probably the easiest way because most plugins are pretty small. I've got some content. That's why it's giving me a problem. I probably need to make all of these files and folders ownable by that username, Jake Rock. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Chown minus big R for recursive. Jake Rocks for the username, Jake Rocks for the group, username and group of everything that's underneath the WordPress folder. Now let's see if that works. Sorry. There we go. Now it's working. So let me review that again since I went a little fast on it. When I installed WordPress, remember I mentioned earlier our ownerships of the files is not correct. And that's because I installed it a little bit differently than how it was suggesting. I literally did the wget and manually decompressed it right here. And it made all those files owned by nobody with no group. and it expected them to all be owned by jcrox. So I backed up first, cd space ... so that I'm in my public HTML folder. I could have even backed up a couple more times so that I'm just in my jcrox folder. And then I use this command called change ownership, or CHOWN, right there, space minus uppercase R, which says do this recursively underneath everything I'm about to type in. Then you specify the username dot the group. So the username is jcrox. The group is also jcrox. When you create a virtual domain, it creates a user that belongs in a group of the same name. So jcrox.jcrox space, and then the name of the folder that I want to change the ownership on, which since I've backed up from the previous domain, I want to change the previous folder. I want to change everything underneath public HTML. Then when I go back into public HTML, everything is correctly ownable, including that file that I downloaded as root. That used to be owned by root because I'm root right now, but it changed it to be owned by jcrox. Now, once you install WordPress, you don't need that file anymore, so you can get rid of it. So now it says this plugin is supposedly installed. Let's click on activate to activate it. And what will happen is it should add a new item, and it did. It added a new item over here called contact. Click on contact forms. There is a sample contact form right there. The way you use contact forms is you embed this code on a page. So if I look at contact form 1 here, this is the content of this actual form. And let me describe to you, this basically is XML. Label. In this example form, I'm asking you for your name. So that's just the text. Then anything in a less than and a greater than bracket is specifying a variable. It's a text-based variable called your name. This is an email variable called your email. This is a text-based variable called your subject, and this is a text area variable called your message. A text area is a multi-line box. This is a single line box. This is a special input box that will only allow you to enter valid email addresses into. So that's the form. You edit this information if you need to, so that when you receive an email, because what this form does is you embed this somewhere on your WordPress page. Hey, please send me a message, name, email, information, whatever you want. Then this contact form program will mail you this information to whatever email address you have there. It sticks in the subject that the person typed in, sticks in the email that the person typed in, sticks in the message that the person typed in. You will get this in your email box. Hey, this guy sent me an email, sent me a form. You can alter these messages if you want. So I want you to try using contact form. So again, the short code for it is this. So the way you use this is copy that and you embed that somewhere in a page. And if you're not sure, you're a little bit lost, you can Google for all this stuff. It's a very popular contact form. Set up contact form for beginners. Let's see here. Okay, so we've already installed it. How to set it up. There's the sample one that's there, creating a new contact form. We're not going to create a new one. We're just going to use the sample one that's there. insert a contact form into a page or post. This is what we care about right here. You now know how to set up a contact form. Open the page of the post where you would like to insert the contact form, like that main page, and simply insert the short code in. So let's go back to your WordPress page. Let's go back to our pages here. I believe this was our main page here, Jake's page. Let's edit it. Or we can make a new page if you want, call it Contact Jake. I'll paste that contact form in. Hopefully that will work. There we go. I haven't updated it yet, I'm just previewing it. So I added this pre-created form on there to my web page. Pretty neat, huh? Pretty fast way to add a contact form. So I'm happy with that, so I will go ahead and publish it or update it. So now that's on my page. If anybody goes to jakerocks.com/WordPress, they'll see this. I went to Jake's page, that's that second form that I edited. And send. Thank you for your message. So presumably, if this works, I should get an email in my email box. It may not pass out of the, I'll check that and make sure that we can send emails from the EI Lab to our actual email boxes. Check on my phone and see real quick. I don't want you guys to see the screen. Don't see it yet, but that's one thing I want you guys to do. So add a contact form. Now I mentioned CAPTCHA. I know I'm going to lose some of you here, but I want you to add CAPTCHA to WordPress. Because one thing that happens is that people abuse these WordPress pages. They write robots to automatically fill in information on these and sign up for stuff, and they use them basically to spam people. So we need to put something on this form, or we need to add something to this form that will force us to prove that we're a human. That's called a CAPTCHA. And the most popular one for WordPress that works with the contact form 7 is called no CAPTCHA or reCAPTCHA. Let's check it out. The latest version of reCAPTCHA, blah, 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 registering a site. Now what reCAPTCHA is a little more complex, so we might want to start with a simpler one. So let's go back to WP admin for a minute. Let's go back to plugins. Let's click on add new, and let's just search for a simple CAPTCHA. Let's try a simple one that doesn't require signing up for a Google API or something like that. Here's a really simple one. Let's try that one. I click there. Can't do the install now, but I can go to the website for this CAPTCHA. Plugin homepage, that's what I want. Just want to download it. Where is it? That's download for contact form 7. Yeah, let's just go ahead and go with this recommendation. We'll click on reCAPTCHA here. Let me show you what you got to do to install reCAPTCHA. In order to use reCAPTCHA, you have to register a WordPress site. It doesn't even have to be a public site. It can be a private site. You just have to be able to, you have to get what's called a Google API key. So it wants you to sign into Google with the account. So you need a Google account. Go to the My reCAPTCHA page. I'm going to sign in with Google to my Google account. I don't think I've signed in from this computer before, so I'll actually do it from here. reCAPTCHA version 3. So you see, it's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it, but basically we just need to register for an API. Back up here. This is less critical if you get this working. Since our websites are internal, nobody can get to them anyway. But this is not as hard as it seems. You'll come up to this page, Google reCAPTCHA. Click that little plus there. Add your website, jakerocks.com. Click the reCAPTCHA type you want. They recommend version 3. Accept the terms of service. I don't need to send alerts to owner. Click submit. Oh. Gotta put a domain name in. Same thing, jakerocks.com. Then it gives you these 2 site keys. You copy these site keys and you're going to download them. And again, this is a little more complex. What I want you guys to do for right now. Well, we can finish this part up tomorrow. But what I want you to do for right now, because I think I've showed you a lot already today, or maybe too much. Make sure that you've got your virtual min working. Then install WordPress and make sure you can get to your WordPress. Preferably from your virtual machine, because like I said, the only way you will be able to get to it is if you edit this file and add all of your virtual domain names there. If you add multiple domains, you can use the same IP address if it's on the same server, and just keep adding more domain names to it. If you want to create one of your domain names on a different server, like you created a VM at 192.168.10.202, put that domain over there. If you want to migrate jakerocks.com over to that other one, you can change this and migrate it over, but we'll look at that on Monday. I want to show you how to do that. Also, as kind of the last thing, is how to create a website underneath virtual min using WordPress and then migrate it to another machine, because that's a common thing that we do. What I'll probably do, since I need to go up to the University of Houston and figure out why that one server is off, is I'll probably if I decide to do this, I'll have you guys back up everything and I'll cluster all the machines together so that I can show you clustering. But I don't know if, sometimes we run into issues with that when we use clustering, because then if somebody messes up one of the Proxmox machines, it messes all of them up. But anyway, for right now, you guys think you can get WordPress installed and actually look at a page installed under WordPress, get contact form installed? That's what I want you guys to try to do before tomorrow. So I'm going to end the Zoom meeting now and then check my emails and try to answer the questions of people that are stuck with not being able to log in via VPN, not being able to get their virtual machine running because that's stopping everybody. If you can't get to this virtual machine, this student VM virtual machine, it makes it harder to do things. Now, as I said, if you've got the VPN working, you don't have to use this virtual machine. You could have edited your host file on this machine here. Well, no, I had to have done WordPad run as administrator on your actual machine. I just didn't want you to do that because it's going to clutter up your machine a little bit and you might forget to remove these someday. They don't have to be removed, but it's probably a good idea to remove them. So I'm actually on my desktop computer here, not the virtual machine. Oh, wait a minute, it's asking me to save as, excuse me. Open. Was it doing the right thing? Save that, and then that way, as long as you've got VPN working, you don't even have to be using that virtual Windows 7 machine. So now I should be able to do it from here. Well, don't call me a liar now. It probably is doing, oh, I know why. Why is it doing that, guys? Forgot to put WordPress in. Okay, so do you see what I just did there? I basically did the same thing. I just edited my own local desktop here. As long as I'm connected via VPN to the EI lab, it'll work that way, and I don't have to use that virtual machine. So use whichever one you want. I don't care. The way I'm going to grade this is I'm going to publish basically another assignment, and you're going to upload screen prints to it or fill out questionnaires. You'll upload these screen prints, and it doesn't matter where those screen prints are coming from, whether they're coming from your local computer here or the computer that I'm currently remotely viewing. Where am I at? Did I lose it? No, here it is. So I'm remotely viewing this computer here. Okay, any questions before I end and start answering some more emails? You guys still there? Let's see, where are you? Chat, there you go. Check emails, yep, that's what I'm gonna do. And I know you've got emails to me, Ali, so I'll try to get those checked and try to get you moving along.
Professor, this is Jessica. I have to start all over again, right? Because you put me on server 7.
Unless you wanna wait for me to go up to U of H, but, is it a big deal for you to start over?
No, I just want to make sure that if I need to start over again.
If you don't mind, because I might end up going to U of H and something physically wrong with the server and I will have wasted time. So if you remember, and it, it's only going to help you to do this again. You've done it a couple times already.
Yeah,
Set up
okay.
new machines on server 7.
Is the
You can use the same range, by the way. You can go ahead and still use 201, 202, 203 because you're in the same physical cabinet, and that'll work on server 7, and you can number your machines 801, 802, 803 if you want.
Okay, and the password you gave me, do I keep that or do I add a new admin?
Oh, on server 7, did I add you on server 7?
I think you added me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're already added, but so you should just be able to access it with that user Jessica.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and end now, and I'll start answering emails and contacting the people I need to contact. The clear instructions, Ali, are in the assignment. Is that what you're referring to? Or in the videos? But ask me your questions in email, and I'll get them answered quick as I can here. I'll point you in the right direction. Okay. See you tomorrow. We'll have a class tomorrow at 4 o'clock.